When the priests fancy that they have entirely extinguished the light of Phria and Jesus, then shall all classes of men rise up, who have quietly preserved the truth among themselves and have hidden it from the priests. They shall be of princely blood, of priests, Slavonic, and Phria's blood. They will make their light visible, so that all men shall see the truth. They shall cry woe to the acts of the princes and the priests. The princes who love the truth and justice shall separate themselves from the priests. Blood shall flow, but from it the people will gather new strength. Finda's folk shall contribute their industry to the common good, Linda's folk their strength, and we our wisdom. Then the false priest shall be swept away from the earth. Ralda's spirit shall be invoked everywhere and always. The laws that Ralda in the beginning instilled into our consciences shall alone be listened to. There shall be neither princes nor masters nor rulers, except those chosen by the general voice. Then Phria shall rejoice, and the earth will only bestow her gifts on those who work. All this shall begin 4,000 years after the submersion of Atlan, and 1,000 years later thou shall exist no longer either priest or oppression. Dela, surnamed Helenia, watch! Before the fall of Tartaria, although within the Oera we find that this title we use is symbolic, not literal. So much has been erased from our forgotten history. Tartaria is a symbol of a name on a map left out, and yet on some maps this name possessed territories the size of continents. Within this we find a problem hard to convey with much more than dissonance. If I say the words fact while forming my next statement, it will be perceived one way. And if I use less definitive language, it will be perceived another way. And these perceptions and their directions are highly personal. Milk and sugar, cold and black, are just a few examples leading back to Bruno, Giordano Bruno, and his memory seal. Simply put, Tartaria is a symbol of the proof of mismanagement of facts within the education department. It is a name, when uttered by the community somewhat new to reality, that fills one with a recognition that we have a higher purpose, are capable of higher forms and structures, that something has been stolen, that we are awake to it, and that we will not go on with our lives without doing whatever we can to rectify that fact, that facts are no longer facts. Homotaklias. So, on this side of his story, with nothing to cling to, what has been done is what all humans do, to grab onto an old symbol and fill it with something new. Only the mental constraints imposed by the errors lead people to believe this act not to be legitimate. That symbols have meaning imbued permanently, which is only psychologically true, a point in its own right. Symbols belong to external reality, is linked organically with the object. The function of the mind is entirely dependent on symbolic representation. But the mind changes. Its overall relationship to them change. So if a symbol is misused, one must put it down for a few generations and cleanse it from the psyche. Sometimes the symbol is so abused it may never recover. It is up to the viewer and their ability to exercise creativity of free will. Otherwise, all requires Asha's fire. All but natural law and the great work should be burnt and cleansed every 52 years. This, by design, reinforces every generation, truly knowing how to make and do everything, to not fall into ignorance, arrogance, and laziness. Hollow me, hollow you.